Hey, what's up guys? It's Ari with Fisher Motor Group. Hey, I'm in a 2003 Mercedes S500 that you probably saw me buy in another video of mine. This car is really beautiful. It has a new paint job. The paint is in really nice shape. I mean, whoever painted it did a very good job. And the leather's really nice. The plastic is in good shape. Nothing's cracked. The buttons aren't all disgusting. Everything works. Right now there are two malfunctions that it's telling me in the driver information center up on the console here. It says brake pad wear, visit workshop, and side marker out. So I guess in a big Mercedes S500, if those are my two only malfunctions, I'm a happy camper. But seriously though, this car is really nice. In 2003, they made some serious upgrades to the S500 chassis, the S chassis in general. It got the more clear kind of projector style xenon headlamps. They did a little bit different as far as the layout inside and the electronics. Now this car is pretty much loaded with every option you could get except for the distance keeping automatic cruise control. It does not have the driver's or passenger seat massage function, unfortunately. However, it does just about have every other feature. It's got 8 buttons. I think some of the lower trim levels only had like 3 buttons per either side maybe, so it's really important. You do want to make sure that you have the one that has the more buttons, because obviously these cars have depreciated an immense amount, so you can really get a pretty good top trim level car for reasonable money. This car cost me $2,800 when I first bought it. Now, I did not look at this car or preview it ahead of time. I just saw it running through the lane and decided that I really wanted it. It looked like it was in great shape. I kind of eyeballed it real quick. So for $2,800, it sounds like a great deal, and don't get me wrong, it's a ridiculously good deal. But the risks that I took in association with making that decision, I wouldn't recommend that most people do that. I mean, hell, I wouldn't recommend that I do that next time, because there has been several cars that I have done that. For example, a 2000 CLK 430, that's a one-owner car, really nice, had a blown head gasket. But this time it paid off and I couldn't be more excited. Now I'm listing this car, I believe it's at like $5,900, which, you know, for what this is with 97,000 miles is actually a hell of a deal. Oh boy, I always hate this part when I'm driving home, because literally, look, I have to get in line with all of these. Oh, that's a nice looking car right there. It's an SRT Hellcat. But I literally have to battle all these cars in the left lane, because up ahead it ends, and it ends very abruptly, and a lot of people don't know that. The line backs up a really long ways, but then you have to fight your way over. And I'm gonna try to do that right now. Come on, what? Sleeping at the wheel. I've had people honk at me, try to run me off the road here. I mean, it's serious business. They get pissed. But yeah, I mean, this car is in really nice shape. Whoever owned this S500 really took good care of it. The headliner is really clean, as you could tell. Right here is a little bit worn out, which is pretty typical. Just the cushion underneath gets worn, but look at the leather. The leather's in great shape. All of this is hand stitched, by the way, which is kind of impressive. I do wish it had the leather on the dash. It doesn't, but that's okay. Otherwise, I mean, the leather and the door panels, really everything about this car is in really nice shape. Now, common issues is suspension. This car has DC Airmatic, I believe is what it's called. It's not DC, it's just called Mercedes Airmatic suspension. That is usually a huge problem on these cars. Now, for some reason, this one is working, and I'm very happy about that. I do not want it to fail, because the S500 that I had the hydraulic suspension. That failed and cost me literally, I think it was like $2,800 to fix. So, and that wasn't even fixing it. That was just converting it to a standard like spring and strut setup. A lot can go wrong with these cars. They're not the most cheap cars to work on. However, if you do your own work and you can source your own parts, they're not bad. They are pretty affordable. I mean, listen, even for $5,000, you're getting an S500 flagship Mercedes that's built like a tank, that's bulletproof, that run forever as long as you maintain them, cheaper than you can buy a 2006 Honda Civic. At least that's how I feel. I mean, I would much rather have this kind of car and save a little bit of money, put it aside, that way if something should break, it's not going to destroy me. So this S500, surprisingly, a lot of the features actually work. It does have the parking little sensors, which you can see up there on top of the dashboard and above the rear window. You can probably see that if I get my fat head out of the way. The seats work. The only funny thing is I feel like my driver's seat should go down a little bit further. For some reason when I hit the button it just doesn't, it'll go up. Like look how high up I am right now. It's only halfway up. And then I try to set it down, but then it stops. So I kind of feel like I'm sitting almost like this. Air inflators work, so the seat holds you tight. The transmission shifts super smooth. When I did get this car originally, it had a bad center support bearing and it had motor mounts that were starting to go, so there was a lot of vibrations. Now if you know the S-Class Mercedes, you're basically not supposed to feel like it has an engine at all. I've replaced the bearing, I've replaced the engine mounts. There's still a little bit of a vibration, and I think I know where that's coming from. And they had on the harmonic balancer on this engine, the little rubber starts to deteriorate over time. And even if you can't visibly see a lot of deterioration, it still goes out of balance, and you can feel subtle vibrations running through the whole chassis of the car. And it's more like RPM based, so if you rev it up, you'll kind of feel a slight vibration come and go. So I still got to fix that. The leather's really beautiful in this car. It's super soft. The steering wheel's in nice shape. Like I was saying, remember how, I don't know if you know this, but on some of these cars, the buttons tend to get like really nasty, right? They have like a rubberized texture to them, and the rubber over time kind of gets really sticky. So what happens is that it just is nasty and it looks disgusting. So this car actually had that problem, and I cleaned it with some Purple Power and a microfiber towel. If you just keep on scrubbing it, squirt it with power, scrub it, squirt it with power, it'll actually come off, and it leaves your buttons pretty much looking like this. Now, as you can see, this car has 97,000 miles. That's incredible. Like, this is a 2003. For it to have 97,000 miles, they drove less than 10,000 miles a year, which is pretty impressive. It's just a real treat whenever you come across one of these cars. It's like a blast from the past, you know? Not only are they difficult to find in relatively decent shape, let alone finding them in good working order as this car is. Every single time I drive this car, it reminds me of Biggie Smalls. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I thought in my mind I see him driving this car back in the day. I've always loved the body style of this car. Now, I'll give you, it's looking a little dated in today's day and age, but still, this S-Class is such a beautiful car, and it's such a smooth, really good handling car. The suspension's still tighter than a drum. I mean, and you can stiffen it up more when you hit the buttons on the dash up here. You hit that button right there that looks like it's got the arrows and the little suspension, and that thing will tighten it up, and you have two different options. So option 1 is stiff and option 2 is stiffer. Now this is a really nice place to be. If you see, I mean, look at the condition of this car. The back seat, I mean, look at this armrest right here. That's pretty crazy. I mean, it's just so clean. The leather's really soft still. I like how it's kind of dry. It's not like overly done in Armor All and stuff, which, you know, I hate that. But really, like, the back seat's plenty comfortable. So much room. I'm fully laid back, and look at my knees. They're just barely now touching. That's crazy. I got my little vanity mirror I can turn on if I want to check myself out. I mean, I wouldn't mind having this thing just to like drive around as my office. To be honest, I could sit back here with my laptop and do my business. Let's see if the window. Oh, the window works. Yeah. Now, the one thing that does work but doesn't work is this rear shade. Unfortunately, I've hit the button and it worked once, and then I've tried it again and no luck. Look how nice the seats are, man. That's just unheard of. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the driver's seat. There's no cracks, there's no tears, there's no stains. Man, I got so lucky on this car. Hold on a second. I'm not getting any ventilation back here. Why not? I'm not getting any ventilation. I just wanted to do a quick little review though of this car. I mean, it's such a cool, unique car. You don't find them very often. Oh, here's those parking sensors I was telling you about right here. I wanted to let you guys in on it. I mean, it's just in such great shape. It's so big, it's so comfortable, it's smooth. All the wood's in good shape. A lot of the trim and stuff tends to crack over time on these things. It's not cracked at all. $2,800, man, $2,800. That's crazy. I mean, you can't pay that anywhere. Yeah, none of the vents. Oh, they are. They're blowing. it's a little cool. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining me in my S500 video. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future. I plan on doing more of these kind of like steal cars, you know, the cars I get for really cheap, but are really nice, surprisingly. I'll fill you guys in more, but definitely subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and hey, let me know what you'd like to know. I got plenty of answers to all your questions. You just post them in the comments below, otherwise I don't know what to talk about. Alright guys, this is Ari, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya! What else can I say about it? This is really a really cool car. No shit. Now what the you focusing on? Focus on my face. Why is it so smoky around here, man?